First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash, and the Bond Seals Greek Millstone, while unto truth, and also to those elect that are scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom, and come back here today with another great and powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type of day lesson is Endtime news. So I like to say Shalom to all our listen and learner. Hope to sweep you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today, listen, I have a quick news article by Shinwa Net, and it reads, it said, aftermath of Israeli attack in Damascus, Syria. Let's get a little bit more. It says here that this photo taken on July the 14th, 2024 shows the aftermath of an Israeli missile attack in Damascus, Syria. A series of Israeli attacks hit targets in the Syrian capital after midnight Sunday, causing explosion to reverberate across the city. The defense ministry said a military personnel was killed and 3 others were injured as a result of the Israeli attack. So we seeing this happen right after the assassination attempt on former President Trump. So, a lot of people right now still are not watching. While they're doing something over here, they're doing something else, other parts of the world. We're not ignorant of Satan's device. So we seeing that these things are constantly picking up. We seeing that, war is constantly increasing. We seeing that the war drums are beating. We seeing that, World War III is getting ready to come full circle. We already know we're at the beginning of World War III. We're at the beginning of sorrow. So a lot of these things are going to constantly pick it up. And a lot of these things they're not putting in the news. They're keeping it hush hush. They're constantly moving under the radar. But one thing about it, but through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, Lord has set up watchmen to warn you of these impending dangers. And one thing about it is why you always got to be watching. You always got to be praying, being circumspect, redeem the time wise, knowing what's going on all around you at all given time. Because one thing about it, the Lord said he will come like a thief in the night. So right here, the aftermath of Israeli attack on Damascus, Syria. I know they had attacked the embassy, I think, a few months back. So we seeing that things are constantly picking up between Israel and Iran, Hamas, the Houthi rebels. A lot of these things are picking up. Also, we know that between Russia and Ukraine, these things are constantly escalating. We already knowing about the Chinese soldiers are in Belarus, doing military drill. And also I have another one right here, it's a lot of things are constantly picking up. Let's go to this one. So we seeing right now, after that assassination attempt, we seeing that Israel went into Damascus several hours later and did airstrikes on Damascus, and they're not even trying to put it in the news. So we seeing right now what they trying to bring for what? Order out of chaos. So let's go to this one right here. This one right here was a couple of days ago too. It says here, U.S. Coast Guard, let me get this off. The U.S. Coast Guard patrols spots, U.S. Coast Guard patrol spots Chinese naval ships off Alaskan islands. So let's get a little bit more. So we seeing right here, man, they getting very close. We seeing that they down in Cuba. We seeing that they doing military drills in Cuba. What is that? The Russian warships, along with the Cuba, and also Venezuela, and also right here in Alaska. We seeing right here, Russia and China are up here, Chinese warships. It says here, Anchorage, Alaska, said a U.S. Coast Guard cutter on routine patrol in the Bering Sea came across several Chinese military ships in international waters, but within the U.S. exclusive economic zone, officials said the crew detected 3 vessels approximately 124 miles, 200 kilometers north of the Ampaka Pass in the Aleutian Islands. Said the Coast Guard said in a statement Wednesday. A short time later, a helicopter aircrew from the Coast Guard air station Kodiak spotted a fourth ship approximately 84 miles, 135 kilometers north of the Amuka Pass. So we seeing right here, man, these things are constantly picking up. Let's get a little bit more. It says all four of the People's Republic of China vessels were transitioning in international waters, but still inside the U.S. exclusive economic zone, which extend 200 numerical miles, 370 kilometers from the U.S. shoreline. Said this statement said the Chinese vessel told the Coast Guard their purpose for being there was freedom of navigation operations. So they are practicing, or they drilling, doing some type of military exercise. So we seeing right now these things everywhere you look. They're doing some type of military exercise right here off the coast of Alaska. These U.S. Coast Guards was patrolling and spotted these Chinese warships. So we got Chinese warships and also Russian warship right here off the coast of Alaska. So we already knowing that Alaska and Russia, I think they are divided by these Aleutian Islands. It's a split right through there, but they're getting very close to that what they call this economic zone. So, but one thing about it, so we knowing that a war is constantly coming full circle. We know that World War III has begun. You know what I'm saying? We seeing that things are getting ready to escalate. What are they preparing for? Also, you already know that they had military drills. Probably a couple of a week ago in Cuba. Russia was doing military exercise there, also in Venezuela. So you're seeing that these alliances are coming together. We knowing that Russia will be a guard to these other nations. We seeing that what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Also, Israel just had an airstrike Sunday night around midnight, hit Damascus again, the capital. Damascus, Syria again. So we already knowing this, this constantly escalating between Iran and Israel. So these things are constantly picking up, so the Lord's constantly putting the chess pieces together, so we seeing, they're trying to distract you over here, with these, with this, what you call these false flag events. But one thing about it, we're gonna measure the time diligently. We seeing that, hey man, these events are constantly picking up. Let's get this one right quick. We see this right here. We already know this been in the news, for ever since it came out Saturday. So we see it right here. It said Trump is back out in the spotlight for the first time. So after his assassination attempt, and he is wearing a massive rectangular bandage over his ear. So we seeing this right here, hey, he's playing the part. So one thing about it, we knowing that, they'll get ready to bring forth total control. And also Biden was talking about his 2025 project. Look it up when you get a chance. So it's telling you, it's really going into it. He's trying to make this America a police state, a militarized state where he will have total control of the new world order. So we seeing that these things are constantly picking up. While you're sleeping, the devil is constantly getting busy. So now let's get a quick precept before we start today's video. Let's go here to Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 12. He said, for man also knoweth not his time as the fishes that are taken in a evil net. Say, and as the birds that are caught in the snares are a trap, so are the sons of men snared in a evil time when it falleth suddenly upon them. So that's what's getting ready to happen. You're looking over here and they're doing something else over there. And one thing about it, we're not ignorant of Satan's device, his agenda, his plan. What is that plan? Total control. We already know they get ready to transition into this digital society where they're gonna be using your biometrics. You know what I'm saying? Also though, these that's gonna work hand in hand with this new currency, you know what I'm saying? This digital currency gonna work hand in hand with this under your skin device, which in fact is the MOTB, that grain of rice. So, a lot of people don't get caught up in these evil nets. And also what Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation, the men of the Lord, we constantly warn you. What you seeing, what's going on right before your eyes is only distraction. A lot of people constantly being distracted. But one thing about it, they're going to get caught up in this evil net. Let's read it once again. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 12. Let's go back here one moment. Just the devil. Let's see here. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 12 says, for a man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in a evil net, say, and as the birds that are caught in the snare or a trap, so are the sons of men snared in an evil time. We living in an evil time right now, a perilous time, when it falleth suddenly upon them. When they say peace and safety and total destruction will come upon you, putting out off from day to day. It's time to seek the Lord while he can be found, because one thing about it, things are getting ready to escalate. We're seeing that we're here. So now let's start today's video. And after the video, we'll start the lesson. And I hope that you will get edified.
So while everyone was distracted yesterday with the unfortunate events of the attempted assassination of ex-President Trump, the Chinese were making their way through Alaskan waters. Although this is international zones, they did bypass that and go into exclusive American zones. While no one was watching, several Chinese ships were able to make their way through international waters into an exclusive U.S. economic zone. A stark warning was issued by U.S. Senate Dan Sullivan, who said our military needs to be ready for increase in Chinese and joint Chinese and Russian activity. Not to be confused with the several Chinese ships that were spotted earlier this month, today, July 15th, there were several more spotted by the Coast Guard making their way through international waters into a U.S. economic zone. The Chinese naval presence is operating within the international law of the waters. 17th Coast Guard District Commander says that we met presence with presence again to ensure were no disruptions in the U.S. international water and economic zone area. Also called attention to the fact that he met yesterday morning with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This comes one day after what happened to ex-President Donald Trump with the attempted assassination and left America within shaky waters. So for Chinese ships to now be trying to dictate their way into parts they are not allowed only screams more chaos for the Americans. Do we know?
To new military tensions between the U.S., China, and Russia, with the U.S. Navy sending destroyers to the coast of Alaska last week after nearly a dozen Russian and Chinese warships were spotted patrolling nearby international waters, very nearby. Weijia Zhang is at the White House for us with more on what all this means. Weijia, good morning.
Good morning to you, Tony. Good morning to everybody. Alaska Senator Dan Sullivan called the size of the Chinese and Russian joint operation unprecedented. He says the U.S. deployed 4 Navy destroyer ships near the Aleutian Islands in response to those 11 Chinese and Russian warships near U.S. waters. The U.S. Northern Command says the Chinese and Russian patrol remained in international waters and wasn't considered a threat. But the show of force is a reminder of the cooperation of Chinese and Russian militaries, as well as how close the countries are to Alaska. A similar joint exercise took place last year in September. The U.S. Coast Guard encountered 7 Chinese and Russian ships near Alaska, all in a single formation. Now, China and Russia have increased their ties amid tensions with the U.S. over Taiwan and Ukraine, making situations like this more alarming. In a statement to other media outlets, the Chinese embassy said this patrol was part of an annual cooperation plan and has nothing to do with the current international and regional situations. Nate?
Weijia, thank you.
So we're seeing that we're very close. Why? People are constantly focus on what's going on between this assassinated attempt against former President Trump. You see what's going on overseas. So we'll start today's lesson. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, we knowing that, things are getting ready to get very critical. We see we're coming upon these perilous times. So now, title of the day lesson once again is End Time News. A quick lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Let's go here to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Verse 1. And it reads that, but of the times and season, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. Said, for yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. So one thing about it, a lot of people are still not aware of what's going on across the world. The signs of the time still are not considered, still thinking that they're a good case, still think that everything is all right and all hell is getting ready to break loose. And right now we know perfectly well what time that we're living in, the end time. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, a lot of people right now is going to get caught up in these catastrophes, these calamities, you know what I'm saying? These things that's getting ready are fast approaching, the Lord's judgment, and the Lord is getting ready to bring forth massive judgment. So let's start back up at verse 3. It said, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So one thing about it now, we're in peace and serenity right now. Everything is happy, go lucky right now. Right now people are, constantly eating good, drinking good, not aware of the signs of the time, going on with their daily life, doing pretty much what they want to do, that do thy will, Spirit, walking in great pride. Right now, we're in peace and serenity. This is the quiet before the storm. But we know right now, when they say peace and safety, all hell will break loose. We knowing that right now, World War III is constantly picking up. We seeing that, it's getting ready to come full circles. It's going to be on all major continents, you know what I'm saying? Over here in the U.S., Israel, you know what I'm saying? Ukraine, Russia, Taiwan, China, you know what I'm saying? The list go on. And one thing about it, we know that things could go nuclear at any given time. So we seeing that these warships are all pretty much surrounding America, Babylon the Great. We seeing that, they constantly saying they doing a military exercise here. They doing a military exercise all in our backyards. While you're sleeping, once again, the devil is constantly getting busy. Let's go here to Jeremiah. So we seeing what happened in Damascus, you know what I'm saying, several hours after the attempt assassination on former President Trump. So let's go here, Jeremiah chapter 49. Jeremiah chapter 49, just something quick through the Spirit. Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 23. Let's see here. Let's see what I want to get at. Something I want to get out of here. One moment. Let's see. I know it says Damascus concerning Damascus, saying what I want to hear. I want to go back up at the top here. It's right here. That's what I want right here. Jeremiah chapter 20 and verse 20. Salaki. Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 20 said, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he has taken against Edom, and his purpose that he has proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. And out about, we already seeing that Israel is constantly, you know what I'm saying, making all sorts of moves, you know what I'm saying, constantly doing things, that these other nations, they're not pleased with. They telling them to do a ceasefire. And next thing you know, they doing airstrikes on Damascus, Syria, and also Lebanon. So this things is constantly picking up. And one thing about it, we already knowing that that Israel will be attacked and Israel will be nuked, but it will be rebuilt back up. So one thing about it, we know that it's coming. So it says here, the least of the flock, which in fact is Israel, shall draw them out. Draw who out? America, Babylon the Great, and their habitation shall be desolate with them. So we already know that once Israel get hit, shortly after, America will be nuked, and this place there will be no inhabitant left here. And one thing about it, it's high time to wake out of sleep. We seeing right here, we seeing, they are moving in warp speed. He's seeing that his days is determined. We're seeing right now the devil is getting ready to fill his belly. A lot of people right now still, are watching all sorts of a different TV program, getting rocked back to sleep from the left-hand side while you are constantly sleeping, constantly being docile, constantly in the house of mirth. This devil is very serious. He's getting ready to use that sword. And what is his greatest sword? That is the IBCM missile. If war is in the air, we're right upon war. These war drums are constantly beating left and right. We're seeing that we're here. The least of the flock is going to draw them out. In the middle, Lord, we're constantly warning you, left and right. It is here. It is at the door. So let's go to Jeremiah. Something I want to get at Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 51. Let's drop down to verse 40. I think it's 45. That's rolling in the spirit. Let's go here and we get one more. Let's go, I think it's 45. So we seeing that, what I'm saying, the second woe has passed, but the third woe come quickly. World War III, the last and final war for the great and glorious return of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 45 said, "My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul for the fierce anger of the Lord." So that's one thing about it. The Lord said, go ye out of the midst of, how do you flee? Out of Babylon spiritually, come back under that total subjection to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. And one thing about it, the Lord's getting ready to bring forth that recompense and judgment, that fierce anger, the wrath of the Lord, the indignation of the Lord. These missiles are getting ready to fly, these IBCM missiles, and also that laser and chariot fire. Lord say, hey man, flee out of the midst. And one thing, but deliver ye every man his soul for the fierce anger of the Lord, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. It is at the door. The Lord's getting ready to bring forth that judgment. Verse 46, and it said, "Unless your heart faint, and ye fear of the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come in 1 year, and after that in another year shall come a rumor, and violence in the land, rulers against rulers." So that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing one rumor behind another. We're seeing one event behind another, one calamity, one catastrophe behind that, and also what increased violence, and also what city against city, nation against nation. We're seeing these things are constantly lighting up because the Lord is bringing them forth. We're seeing right now, man, we are here. It is at the door, man. We are so very close, man. So we seeing right now, we constantly going to see rumors of war. We seeing all these different strange weather patterns. We seeing all these different events constantly taking place, disorder out of chaos. And also we know we transition into this digital programmable, also implantable society is fast approaching the hour of temptation. And also, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. So the body count is getting ready to be great. We're living in end time once again, real time. We're seeing that, these warships are constantly, in America backyard. And a lot of people still are not considering. As of the days of Noah, as of the days of Lot, as of the days of right now, there's no new thing under the sun. So let's go to our last and final script. We'll close out here. Let's go to Mark. Mark chapter 13. Mark chapter 13. And because one thing about it, a lot of people are still asleep. And that's why the Lord said he would come like a thief in the night. Mark chapter 13 and verse 32. Mark chapter 13 and verse 32. Let's highlight this. And we'll close out here.
But of that day and that hour knoweth no man.
One moment. Here we go. Mark chapter 13 and verse 32 said, "But of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai." So one thing about it, though no one know the hour, when the day of the Lord will come upon us, when the Lord will intervene on our behalf, when our salvation is very close, and one thing about it, even Yahweh, he doesn't even know. It's all in the power of Yahweh, the great King that sits on the throne. Let's read this once again. Said, "But of that day and that hour knoweth no man." So, a lot of people try to, predict when the end will come, or try to say, oh, it's going to happen here this time or that time. It said right here, know is no man. No, not the angels. So the angels are the mighty men of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, the angels, the one that is riding around in these UFOs, constantly beholding the good and the evil. You got this place under surveillance left and right. The Lord's eyes are 10 times brighter than the sun. But one thing about it, they don't even know when the Lord, when the Most High is going to bring it to a close. And it says here, the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, Yahweh, said, but the Father, so the powers in the hand of the Most High. So when the Lord say, hey, go get my sons and daughters, the Lord is going to get up off his throne and he's coming, with great glory and great power from the east to the west. And one thing about it is that we knowing that our salvation is at the door. Verse 33 said, "Take heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is. And one thing about it is what we constantly warn you, left and right, watch and pray. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of the time, will be a stronghold when these things are coming upon us at a fast pace. And one thing about it, you know, we'll be in a comfort zone. You know, we'll be in a secret place of Yahweh by Hashem. We're part of the hopeful elect. Of course, we constantly are hoping for each and every day. We asking the Lord, how long, oh Lord? We hasten his great and glorious return. So we seeing all these different false flag of them. Had they been engineered or manufactured, but it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. The Lord is causing these things to happen. The Lord control the left-hand side, also the right-hand side. And one thing about it, we knowing that the Lord is in perfect control. So one thing about it, all we must do is put our total trust in Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, and the Lord is going to do the rest. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is End Time News. So I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushua by Hashem, Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.